This is the brief on Teresa Giudice's Dreamcast for The Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 15. The first update we have today is all about a huge moment at BravoCon where Teresa Giudice shared exactly who she hopes to see back for the next season. And, well, she threw it a pretty shocking name. So she was on the Housewife to Housewife panel, right? And she started off by saying she's a girl's girl and is open to some fresh blood. Then she listed her favorites to return: Jennifer Aydin, Dolores Catania, and Jackie Goldschneider. But the real curveball was her saying she'd want Melissa Gorga back. Yeah, her estranged sister-in-law. Now, this all comes right after reports that Teresa and Joe Gorga met up off-camera before BravoCon to sort of broker peace, and the family was even spotted together at the convention. But, maybe hold off on getting too excited. Andy Cohen made it very clear that there's no official casting news for Season 15 until production feels the lineup is just right. So while the final cast is still up in the air, Teresa's olive branch has definitely kicked off the drama early. Before we get into the next update, please make sure you've liked this video and subscribed to this channel. Okay, then let's move on to next update now. Next, we are going to talk about Andy Cohen's recent updates from a BravoCon panel regarding the future of several The Real Housewives franchises. Okay, so Andy just dropped some huge updates, and it really illuminates a pretty big shift in how Bravo is handling these shows. Let's start with The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So why has it been on pause since August 2024? Well, Cohen confirmed it's totally strategic. He said they're waiting to find the exact right group for the cast before they even think about bringing it back. To make his point, he brought up the successful reboot of The Real Housewives of Atlanta for its 16th season. Basically, they're not going to rush RHONJ when they have so much other great stuff in the works. And still on the topic of Jersey, he talked about that unfilmed reconciliation between Teresa Joe Gorga and Melissa. Turns out, Bravo deliberately didn't film it. They actually told the family that it needed to be done for themselves and have nothing to do with the network. Cohen's justification was pretty blunt. We'd shot that scene many times before. Then he pivoted to The Real Housewives of New York City. He says Season 16 is close, but he also shot down a major rumor. That whole idea of a hybrid cast with the current members and a bunch of OGs? Yeah, not happening. He just said, simply, no, not true. So this was today's update about Andy Cohen's Bravo insights. Let's now move on to next update.
Okay, next we are going to talk about the latest tension between Shannon Beador and her ex-husband David Beador's wife, Lesley Beador, after some pretty intense comments at BravoCon. So things really kicked off when Shannon was on a panel. She publicly questioned how happy David and Lesley's marriage actually is, claiming that he has filed for divorce from Lesley 5 separate times and then taken it back. She also mentioned that David just hangs up the phone if he hears her voice in the background while he's on the phone with their kids. Well, as you can imagine, Lesley was not having it. She jumped right on her Instagram story and addressed Andy Cohen directly, saying she could be at BravoCon in 2 hours and that she'd spill all the tea and it's hot. And to really challenge what Shannon said, she posted a 5-year anniversary gift David bought her last month with the song Let It Go playing in the background. She wrote, "You asked how happy he was? Do the math, Shanny." Shannon also talked about some other RHOC news. She's super excited that Vicki Gunvalson is returning for the show's 20th season. But as for the Tres Amigas, well, she said she's created a healthy boundary with Tamra Judge and is, quote, not willing to push that boundary any further right now. So this was today's update about the BravoCon drama and the Beador family feud. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about Brittany Cartwright, who's been sharing some updates on her co-parenting situation with her ex, Jax Taylor, and her recovery from a personal surgery. So Brittany Cartwright has given an update on the whole contentious co-parenting situation and also shared some new images after her breast reduction. On her podcast, When Reality Hits, she said the co-parenting relationship is, well, it's going. She really stressed that right now she's a full-time mom, and she absolutely loves it. She also mentioned she can't talk about everything that's going on, but kind of suggested Jax might speak on certain things one day. She said he's trying to work on himself, and she's hopeful they can keep improving things to make co-parenting successful. Their son will always come first. This all comes after we saw their divorce play out on The Valley, where Brittany even said she wasn't letting their son stay with Jax, who had recently gotten sober. And on a more personal note, Brittany also shared photos following her breast reduction surgery from back in October. She had her 10-year-old implants removed because they'd just become really uncomfortable after having cruise, breastfeeding, and all the weight fluctuations. The procedure involved tissue removal and a lift, and she seems so happy with the outcome. She said on her podcast that she's so happy, calling her new breasts perky and beautiful. She expects to be a full C or a small D, but says it's just a huge, amazing difference. So this was today's update about Brittany Cartwright's personal life and co-parenting challenges. Let's now move on to next update. Next up, we're going to talk about the latest legal developments in Travis Mullen's custody battle. This all centers on the legal fight between Gina Kirschenheiter's boyfriend, Travis Mullen, and his ex, Megan Mullen, over their 3 kids, son Joseph and daughters Presley and Bennett. So, the central development here is pretty dramatic. A judge temporarily suspended Travis Mullen's custodial rights to his son. This decision was made on October 30th, right after Travis was denied his own request for emergency sole custody, where he'd also asked that Megan only get supervised visits. The judge also appointed a lawyer to represent the children in court. Now, the former couple is scheduled for a full custody hearing on November 18th. So, what led to all this? Well, Travis alleges that Megan hasn't let him see one of their children since late September. He raised concerns for his son's welfare, saying the child missed so much school that staff threatened to contact the district attorney. Travis stated he felt the system had failed his son. Megan, however, counters that, alleging Travis uses the court for coercive control and retaliation, and she suggested their son doesn't even want to see his father. She also expressed concern that Travis's media appearances expose their kids to public commentary. And on top of all that, both parents have accused the other of blocking phone contact. Travis denies he did and claims it was actually Megan who denied him phone time with their kids. So this was today's update about Travis Mullen's suspended custodial rights. Let's now move on to the next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the ongoing feud between RHSLC star Brittany Bateman and her daughter, Olivia. So, you probably remember on Season 5 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City when Brittany shared that she wasn't on speaking terms with her daughters. Well, now her daughter Olivia is on the Bravo Investigator sharing her side of things, and she really clarifies where the miscommunications were. And get this, the rift actually began way before the show. Olivia explains that the whole issue was basically a long telephone game where a ton of wrong information got passed down to her and her sister. For example, they were hearing these wild rumors that Brittany was saying horrible things about them on the show, that she was blaming them for her divorce, or even claiming they were jealous of her. Olivia is very clear. All of this was not true. And as for Brittany's suggestion that their friend Bronwyn Noport was the reason they ghosted her, Olivia completely denies that. She says they were already not talking and estranged when they heard all this stuff and feels her mother is just pointing fingers. Now, those incorrect rumors did make things worse, and it's why Olivia decided not to film. She was worried they would just look like little monsters and brats. But that wasn't the original reason for the estrangement. You know, she actually ends with having a lot more empathy for her mom's on-off relationship with Jared Osmond, especially since Olivia's own recent breakup helped her understand that navigating those situations isn't always easy. So this was today's update about the Brittany and Olivia Bateman feud. Let's now move on to next update. Next, we're going to talk about the latest hookup buzz circulating from BravoCon 2025. And it involves Below Deck Down Under's Captain Jason Chambers and Kiki Barth from The Real Housewives of Miami. So this story really illuminates the playful and maybe romantic dynamic between these two, who are now confirmed frontrunners for a new Bravo couple after their interactions at the convention. But honestly, this connection wasn't completely unexpected. It turns out both stars had previously swiped right on each other during separate games on Watch What Happens Live. First, Captain Jason picked Kiki to save during a game called Sink or Save, alongside some other big names like Portia Williams and Ashley Darby. And Kiki definitely reciprocated. During her own game, after swiping left on several other guys, she saw Captain Jason and immediately exclaimed, "Oh my God, yes." Well, the buzz really intensified at BravoCon. The captain, whom Bryn Whitfield once called a cutie patootie, was literally caught leaning in to smell Kiki's neck. Yep. The moment was even captured on Bronwyn Newport's Instagram, captioned, "Captain Jason making sure we all smell like him or his cologne." It's leaving fans wondering, is this a sign of a new romance? Or is the captain, who's also been spending time with Heather Gay and Adriana Demora, just, marking several Bravo stars with his scent?